What is that?
It's live. We're up live.
Hey.
Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for the invite.
So, as I kind of was sharing, I'm wrapping up the month of May. I try to focus on women and investing in real estate. And traditionally, it's kind of things get flip-flop, right? So I typically work with more men who invest in real estate, right?
Yeah.
But I typically work with more women who actually buy the home, and less men buy their house to live in. They're renting, they're doing whatever.
Right.
So it's all kind of reverses in that sense of, the importance. It's important on both ends. So that's why in the month of May, I like to sort of shed some light that as women, we can invest in real estate as well. So could you two please introduce yourselves to everyone who's watching and joining us today?
Absolutely. So I'm Kiana Kendricks. I've been doing real estate off and on since about 2004. Just dived back in as a partnership.
Sorry.
And is that okay? Okay. Yeah. So just dived back into it last year and teamed up with LaShawn's to get my hands back dirty again, because real estate has and is my passion.
Okay.
And I am LaShawn Kendricks. I was also introduced to the real estate market in 2003. I bought my first 2 investment properties. My husband and I. And so time passed, and he's been in it for quite some time. And so Kiana proposed last year, that we partner up and, start to build our own thing. And so here we are today.
Yeah. Okay. So just so everyone kind of understands, do you, I know the answer, but Kiana, do you practice real estate? Is that your full-time job?
No, well, I'm still the insurance lady. So I'm actually in 2 male-dominated industries, actually. No, so I'm a commercial insurance underwriter as well.
Okay. And then what about you, LaShawn?
So no, this is not full-time for me yet. I am the owner of Ace Tax Refund. We're a full-service tax preparation company. And then I also have a health and wellness business.
Yes, honey.
Call me the tea lady.
Okay, I wanted to point that out because a lot of times I need them to understand that you can still work a 9-to-5 job and still invest in real estate. And actually, you should keep your 9-to-5 job until you position yourself to be able to walk away and don't just dive into it. So can you talk about, you touched on it a little bit, but can you talk a little bit more about why the need, why invest in real estate over kind of like anything else?
Well, here's the thing. People always need somewhere to live.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, there's always going to be a need in the real estate industry. So the opportunity for success is always going to be there. It's all about how much how much do you invest into that industry.
Okay. And then, so you said, LaShawn, you started in like 2003?
Yep. That I purchased an investment property. And I actually, so when we bought them, I bought one in Maple Heights. It was a side by side. So it was a duplex. I lived on one side and I had a tenant on the other side. And then the second property that I purchased, which really was like, the deals were going kind of at the same time. The first one just happened to close sooner. But the second one was a 2-family up and down. And I used that one strictly as investment property.
Okay. And then what about you, Kiana? When did you start investing?
So I started back in 2004, and actually I lost my job.
Oh.
And the funny thing is, there was a lady that lived across the street from me. And all I knew is that she drove a really nice car. Her house was really nice, but she always was at home. I literally walked next door across the street and asked her, "What do you do for a living?" And and the rest is history. Her sister owned a company called Supreme Funding.
Okay.
Euclid. And then she taught me the game. I then teamed up with a really good family friend of ours. And so I was a mortgage broker.
Okay.
And of course, I'm doing the deals, doing the loans. I'm seeing the money coming across the table, the HUD statements. I'm like, okay, well, I think I can do this too. So I was a broker. And then I got into the flipping properties. And then I started to hold as well. So I had up to 7 rentals at that time. And also was doing the loans and was flipping all at the same time.
Oh, wow. So we're still afraid. A lot of times people are just kind of stuck because afraid of making a mistake, afraid of just what comes with it. And how did you get past being scared to actually take action?
I think that's where the balance is. I'm the jump out the tree girl. So I'm just ready. I'll go. And she will too, but she's always the voice like, well, wait a minute, let's make sure, let's see it.
Andrea, you know where that come from. That come from the other half. From my better half.
Yeah. And that's funny because, of course, it's my brother, but we're the total opposite in some ways and alike in a lot of ways as well. But I have no fear in anything that I do. Yeah, once I jump in, I go full force at it. The good thing about having a team such as yourself and Sean is that you guys can be the voice of reason.
Mm-hmm. So how do you handle that? So there could be some disagreement or conflict in there. How do you, for example, like my husband, if we're doing a project, I'm saying, well, no, I think we should do the kitchen this way. And he's like, no, I want to do it this way. Like, what do you guys do to who has the upper hand, or, how do you come to terms on that?
So there's really not, there's not an upper hand per se. We are 50-50 partners, like all the way around the board, all across. It's so weird because the dynamics between me and her, we're sisters. Mm-hmm. Been for a long time, and she's older than me, so she thinks that she can. But when it comes to business, we really do work very well together. Like personally, we have conflict a lot. It's a conflict. Right. But in business, we really do put the personal relationship aside, and it's always what's best for our bottom line. Yep. So it may not make sense to me sometimes, and she may have to break it down and say, well, this is why I'm saying what I'm saying. And then I say, okay, it's back to the bottom line. Yeah. Let's roll with that. So it's a compromise thing. You got to always put the business first, take the emotional and the personal side out of it and focus on the bottom line. At the end of the day, when we're into a house and we're rehabbing, we want to make sure that the property looks good. It's in a position where we're finished to be able to get it off, whether it's to a wholesaler or to a home buyer. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, that's the goal that we always stick to at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Just to add to that, I think another thing is we have the same end game. Yeah. So as long as if the end result, and we're trying to get to the same end result, in real estate, everything is numbers. That's another thing. It's not, if we can put it in black and white and it makes sense in black and white, then let's just move forward.
Yep.
So how do you guys split the workload? Do you guys, one person handles this and then somebody else handles another portion of it? Or do you find yourself tripping over each other?
No, I don't, it just works so well. I
know it does.
I don't know why it does, but it does. Like, we really don't dictate because I actually work a 9 to 5. Mm-hmm. And self-employed. She has a little more flexibility with her schedule than I do. But honestly, it's like, I'll just do something. Sometimes I'll call her. We just basically, it's an even balance. We work it out.
I think our skill sets, balance each other out.
Yeah.
So I know what she's good at and what she's capable of handling. And then she knows, the same on my end, what I'm good at, what I'm able to do. If I need to get out in the field and meet with some of the guys or some of the workers, I'm able to do that because my schedule is a little bit more flexible than hers.
Right.
there's time for us to make decisions together, then we do that, So if it's time for us to, make a major purchase, get to Home Depot, do something like that, then we do it around each other's schedules to make sure that both parties are involved. So it's not just one person kind of out there by themselves. But on a day-to-day, she's at home, working from home on the computer, in front of the computer, so she can look at emails and stuff like that. I might be in the field and can't grab that kind of stuff. So it works. It works.
Because I can see, like in the example like you just provided, where one person would say, like she works like a 9-to-5 job, so she's there tied to a desk, and then you said you're flexible. I can see it going bad. Whereas when you get to the end and someone's like, well, I feel like I did all the work, but now we're supposed to split this 50-50. So I can definitely see that could cause a problem. So I think it's definitely, you found a great match where you can, where you respect each other, you trust each other, and able to get through that process. Would you suggest other people considering partnering and creating a team, and then some suggestions you would offer them?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I always look at a partnership as, an opportunity for it not to all fall in my lap at the end of the day. I'm not one of those people that are, about the egos, who's up front, who's making, who's talking for the business, or who's doing this or that. I think in a partnership, the lines of communication have to always remain open. And so as long as the lines of communication remain open, and like Kiana said, at the end of the day, the end game is to make money off of the investment. And so if everybody goes in with the understanding of this is what we're supposed to do, and we communicate along the way, throughout the deal, then you shouldn't really have many issues.
Yeah. But you have to be careful who you partner up with.
For sure.
Everybody doesn't have the same mindset. Everybody doesn't know how to share the level of responsibility there and play off of each other's strengths and weaknesses. So I would say I don't suggest going into business with just anyone, because in all honesty, the personalities need to match.
Absolutely.
They may not be the same, but they need to be able to match up.
Yep.
So a question is, are you buying and holding or flipping?
So the last 2 deals that we've done have been flipping. We're actually in discussion, and it just started yesterday, about a property that we're interested in. So we need to talk to you.
Yes.
After this. But in regards to, holding on to this one and doing something else with, with the project. But yes, now we're buying and flipping.
Yeah.
So when you talk about 50-50 partners, can you share a little bit more what that means exactly? I know on the back end, it's 50-50 in terms of the profits, but is it 50-50? Like when you have to purchase a property, purchase the materials, do you split it like that? Or do you kind of, just kind of offset it in other ways?
Yeah, well, it's 50-50 down the middle, but at the same time, if this is the beauty of having a partner, if I may not be able to do something in a moment and she is, it's like, or vice versa, then it gets handled. That's the beauty. That goes back to what LaShawn was saying about it not all being in just your lap. Typically it's 50-50, but I will definitely pick up wherever she can't, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So for everyone that's listening, it's very important to have a level of respect for your partner, and really it's trust. It's really
absolutely.
Yeah.
And you really can't, when you're in that partnership, it's really like a relationship, and you can't look at it like, oh, you're doing more than me, or I'm doing that more than you. Back and forth. No, we entered this partnership, we said we trust each other, and we move on from there. Now, do you guys do any of the work yourself? Like, girl, let's go over here and go paint this. We're tired of playing with these folks. Do you get into any of that?
That's funny. That's me, much more me than her.
It is. Because I'm not messing my fingers.
Right. And but the thing, what it is I have been in that industry for quite some time. I've also done property preservation. So I'm used to getting my hands dirty. My father is in construction. My brother is in construction. So I think for me, it's just a natural talent that I have that was just given to me through the family. But if we need to, oh, absolutely.
Do you find that, so because it's in the family, you may not necessarily have so much of an issue, but you find that you have a hard time with contractor?
Yes. We still have those issues. Yes, they're not going anywhere. You know, being in a male-dominated industry, you have to have a level of strength and assertiveness as a woman. I've been told that I exude that quite often. So it's not as bad as it could be. And it could be because I've been dealing with these people for so long over the years. But you do have to give a little more as a woman than what you probably would have to do as a man.
Okay. Can you offer any tips? Because that is a big issue for women investors. I think this is another scary part for them because they're coming into a male-dominated field. And to be quite honest, you know, a lot of times men try to take advantage of women, especially if there's no male figure in the picture whatsoever. They really try to take advantage of the pricing. Really understanding what the work that's needed to be done. Do you have any tips that you can provide? So about finding a good contractor, or where.
So what I'm going to say is, and I'm going to be very transparent because you know me, Andrea, that's who I am and what it is. We are very lucky as investors because we do have, you know, Chris, who owns his own general contracting company, her dad, who has done this all his life. So we've been around this. You know, it's not much because I'm always going to, if something don't seem right, now we'll make decisions together without including them because they're not a part of the business. But if something doesn't seem right with you know, for us, that somebody's telling us something, we have somebody to go back and ask and say, hey, what you think about this? For other women, do your research, do your homework, check your references. When you're dealing with these contractors, know who these people are. You know, don't be afraid to ask them to show you things of other projects that they've done, give you some contact phone numbers for other people that they've done work for. You know, those kinds of, it's no different than any other industry when it comes to that. You've got to check those references on these people because you just never know who you might run up against. And
reach out to other investors.
Absolutely.
It's not just us. There's a few of them out there. So I would say definitely, you know, network. Networking is key. Networking is key.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that men and women have issues with contractors. That so that's already a problem. But I also think that even as a woman, you should start to learn some basic terminology. So you could kind of raise your eyebrow to know, like, well, that just really doesn't sound right. Instead of just taking what they say for granted, and maybe get multiple quotes.
Oh, definitely.
I do that a lot.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So just in general, what would you say somebody should plan for when they're thinking about investing? Is there anything that they should think about, like if they're just want to get started?
Well, the first thing is just know that you're going to make mistakes, and that's don't expect the first or even the second project to go easy peasy. It's not. There's going to be some bumps in the road. You definitely want to, I know a lot of people think different, but you do want to make sure you have some form of capital.
Yes.
It may not be in the bank, but you need to have access to it in the event of if any issues were to arise. Anytime you think the project is going to be a certain amount, boost it up 50%. 50%. So if you think it's going to be 10,000, plan for 15.
You got some left over, good for you.
Right. But you know, fear is a state of mind. It's not real. It's all in how you think. And I would say that if this is something that you really want to do, check your resources, check your references, reach out to individuals. I remember years ago, back in 2004, maybe even 2003, that's how I met Beyond. When he would do networking events at Uptown. And I met him, his brother, his sister, a few other people. It turned into this thing. And that's where the bulk of my knowledge came from the industry. And still to this day, if I have a question, I will pick up the phone and call those same individuals. You know, just don't be scared. Do it. Because one thing for certain, as you have a LaShawn and Kiana and Andrea, you have it can be done.
Yep.
It can be done.
So I just want to be clear on this piece of it too, because even though you guys invest together as a partnership, do you do deals outside of the partnership?
Yeah.
Yep, we do.
Yep. My first, I did a house on my own before I brought her in. And then we teamed up, and we're the last two, or the one that we're working on now. Shouldn't have your eggs all in one basket. We do definitely want to bring a certain level of net worth to Kismet Group. That's why we were thinking about or talking about holding properties as well. We definitely want to have a net worth for that company, but definitely it's okay to do things on your own. You should never feel because someone else is doing something on their own that you're not getting a piece of the pie. We have our own lives, and then we have our lives that we share together. It's just like any relationship.
Absolutely.
I mean, you know, when Beyonce left Destiny's Child, like the group fell apart. But I just wanted to kind of point that out for people because, and you might have multiple partnerships going on at once.
Yes, you can. Yeah.
And so I wanted people to kind of think about it in that way too, just because today you might be able to have a partnership just on one deal and then don't do any more partnerships with that person and move on to the next person. So that's the beauty of real estate is that you have so many options you can maneuver through here. And I've seen partnerships where maybe you don't have the money. Someone else has the money, but you might have the know-how, you know, so you can partner in that sense as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Is there something through this journey, either together or personally, that in investing, that it was kind of like an aha moment for you? Like something you learned from a project that you were doing. Maybe it was a bad situation that happened. You recovered from it, but you said, "Oh, it won't happen again."
I think the only thing that I would do different that from the last couple of deals that we did, the first deal was great. The second deal, I think maybe the price.
Yeah.
I think maybe the price.
Yeah. So I think you got to be very clear on, you know, what your market is in regards to investing. So it's just like picking a market when you're looking for a home to live in. This is how much I want to spend. I'm not going over this. This is, you know, this is the reasons behind the budget, you know, all of those kinds of things. So I think as investors, you have to be very clear on what market price you want to be in. And so it's not to say that, you know, there's not deals all over the place, because there are, you know, but I think for us, where we're going, this one has been different than our first one. And again, I think it's been because of the pricing. We stepped into an area that we probably didn't do a whole lot of homework around. But it was a good deal. And it still is, and we'll come out and still, be profitable. But I think when we go back to the drawing board for our next one, as we start to think about and look at, different properties, we'll keep this part of it in mind.
Yeah. And when we say, basically what we're saying is the audience. We need to be clear on the audience.
Yes.
And so are we looking to sell to an investor, or are we looking to sell to a homeowner? And as you know, Andrea, that if you're selling to a homeowner, there's a lot more. Yes, it is. Because we're spending a lot more money.
Yes.
The house, the specifications of the house matter.
Yes.
And so where the first one was just an investment property, we were just able to slap that together and be done with it. But ironically, this time around, that deal probably was better than the homeowner deal that we're working on. So it really does depend, and you have to, and it's okay if you don't get it, it's the first time or as planned, but we're going to continue, to go towards those types of audiences, because generally that's where your higher profit margin is.
Yes.
That definitely is like a niche market that people probably overlook. They just think fix and flip for a traditional buyer to move into it. But that definitely is a niche market as well, where you make it turnkey ready. Even place the tenants in there and there's a number of investors that will snatch it up because they prefer it turnkey, especially if they're out of state.
Right.
Yeah.
So speaking of out of state, do you ever consider investing out of state?
For sure.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. For sure. For sure.
So that piece of it,
we would have had, a lot more conversations. Plans were a little bit different just 3 months ago. This whole COVID thing, has kind of put the brakes on, a lot of different stuff, even within our family dynamic. So I think, at some point, we'll talk about it, some more, and, kind of figure out, how we get our feet wet, what resources do we have, and what areas and markets, and she'll make sure that we pull the trigger on it.
So a couple of tips for the folks. How do you track your numbers? Do you use like an Excel spreadsheet? Is there some system that you found, or what is the best way? And keeping up track with like receipts and everything else.
Yeah. So I think Excel has been kind of my best friend on just kind of keeping up with, what we're putting out. Receipts. There's a couple different apps that you can use.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. We don't do anything that involves cash, because we need to make sure that it's being tracked through our bank account as well. So, all of our, transactions are happening, through, either invoicing, through, Cash App, something like that, or checks, we're writing out business checks. So, we make sure that we're keeping track of things that way.
Right.
But Excel, I'm not going to sit up and say we've got this fancy software or anything like that. Yeah. But we do keep up with the money, and so we do it, in what's most convenient for us.
Do you find, should someone really look at that weekly, monthly, or just at the end of the project?
We look at ours daily.
Yeah.
First thing he ought to do in the morning is look at the account, see what's still outstanding, see what's going on. So for us, it just works like that. Just being able to keep a lookout on everything every single day.
Yeah.
So we know what we're putting out. We know what we're getting in.
Any expenses that we have, I usually immediately text her and let her know that amount, how much is being paid, and who is being paid. So I'm on top. We're on top of that daily.
Okay. See, I don't think a lot of people don't really touch on that and talk about that piece of it, the importance of tracking the numbers, making sure you're on budget, and not waiting until the end, because if you do it ahead of time, you might be able to curve something, So if you're to get a little over budget because of some change orders or something like that, then being able to change, maybe you planned on, putting a deck on the back of the house. Maybe that has to be cut out now at this point.
Yeah.
We just stumbled on that. We had to pull something out. And so the thing was, And the way I look at it is, okay, yeah, we can spend the money. How about just give that back to the buyer?
Mm-hmm.
So you do come across things like that, and I think that's why I check it daily. I want to know what is our profit margin.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to see, are we starting to close the gap? You know, how much were we support that we think we were going to get at close as opposed to what we're getting now. So yeah, most definitely. We do have to make those decisions quite often, and you're going to in probably almost any project that you do.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that doesn't always have to go that way. You may add something. You may find yourself under budget.
Mm-hmm.
So say, hey, well, let me throw something else on. Maybe we can get $5,000 more on the resale of the property. So yeah, definitely going to encounter those types of issues, good or bad.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's all the questions that I really had. I just wanted to take some time and kind of share from your perspective with everyone here. Hopefully from listening in, it encourages you or anyone out there to at least have the conversation about investing. A lot of times, you pay for programs, you read these books, you go to these seminars, but then you don't do anything. And building a plan first, kind of sketch it out and talk about or figure out that end goal of what you want to achieve. Yeah. So thank you for joining me. How can they connect with you? Because you're business owners of other businesses as well. So please share how they can connect with you and maybe utilize some of the services that you provide.
Yeah. Well, I think both of us have our Instagram platforms. My Instagram platform can connect you to the Kismet group. Our email address is attached. Of course, direct messaging also works as well. And I'm pretty sure LaShawn, same thing.
Yep. So my Instagram is LaShawn_Michelle. And I am also on Facebook as LaShawn Reed Kendricks.
Kids. And mine is Kiana Lene, and I'll spell that. It's QYANALYNNE on Instagram.
Tanya McGee says, nice thing, women investors. So.
Yay!
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining me. Of course, if you guys have any questions, people always are asking questions about investing in real estate, finding deals. You can reach out to me, send me a direct message. I'm happy to answer those questions, and have a wonderful evening.
You did it, thank you so much, Andrea. Yes,
right.
Definitely.
Take care.
All right. Have a good evening.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.